Hey guys, Josh here from My Forever Books. My Forever Books lets you take the text messages on your phone and turn them into a printed book. So whatever you see in iMessage, WhatsApp, Android, you can export from there, upload to our website, customize your book, and then we print and ship a book straight to your door. So this video is going to cover the entire message selection process, the book editor features, the cover editor features, and then the final ordering flow. What it won't cover though is the actual export and upload for each specific service. I'll have that linked separately as separate videos where we can go in depth there. It's just too much to cover and we support too many services to do all that in this video. Uh, and as well with the cover editor, the book editor, everything there, I'll have different chapters in this video where you can just jump around if you'd like, or you can just watch the whole thing through to get a good overview of how the software works. And before we get into it as well, I'm going to show kind of like the final product. So you can see that here. This is our glossy hardcover book. I'm going to open up to a random page here, and you can see that text messages and photos are both included. It looks just like it would in your phone. And then we have paperback options here. This is a glossy cover over here. This is a matte cover over here. And if you want to get another good look at what the books look like, you can always go through our reviews here where we have a bunch of different customer images uh, and some videos as well. You can see what people make books out of. So let's get started over here. I'm going to click login and you'll get taken here. You can make an account with us or you can sign in with Google. I'm just going to sign in with my current account and we will go right into the dashboard. Cool. So now we're here in the dashboard and you'll see a bunch of different messaging services that we support. iMessage, WhatsApp, Android, Discord, Telegram, etc. So this is a good spot to pause. Go and check out the more in-depth videos about exporting your messages and uploading them to our website. And then we'll bring it back here and start from here. So I'm going to use iMessage over here as my example. And I'm just going to skip all these steps here. You probably saw in the other video. I'm just going to upload the export file that I got from our exporter tool. I'm just going to give this a second to upload. And then I will see my chat over here on the left side. So this might be your group chat name or a contact name. You can just click it and you'll see all your messages over here. I can select messages by clicking on them and deselect them as well. If I want, I can also come over here and click delete, and that's another way to remove messages from your book. If I click select all, it will select all my messages for the book, and you can see how many messages I have selected over here, and the final page count that will be shipped to you. This is a pretty good estimate, so it'll be around 49 pages. I can clear all. I can select only text, so there's no images here. I can select only images, so there's no texts. And I can also filter by dates and just select messages in that range. So I'm going to do July. Let's do the 10th to the 29th of 2024. Filter, and you'll see it says showing 87 of 224 total messages. And this time, if I click select all, I only get 87 messages with a book length of 22 pages. I can always reset this, right? Clear all. Now I'm showing all my messages again. I'm just going to select all my messages because I want to include everything in this book. And then I can click save. Before I click save, however, there's a little warning right here. If I were to close the browser or go somewhere else, my progress would not be saved. When I do click save though, the messages get saved to our database and then you can always access your book at any other time. So that's a kind of a good place to get to, just so that you don't lose any work that you did selecting all your messages if you went through things and selected messages one by one. And when the messages get saved to our database, they get encrypted, so we can't see anything, only you can access and see your own messages. So we do that for privacy reasons. So now that we're in the book editor, that means our messages were saved to the database. You can close out the browser, go on a different computer, and your progress will be saved. So go ahead and take as much time as you need to make your book. So we'll take the book editor in kind of three parts. The basic book navigation, adding, editing, and deleting messages, and then going through each of these drop-down options over here on the left side. So let's start with just navigating through the book editor. Flip to the right, flip to the left, all the way to the end, all the way to the beginning, and then I can select specific pages as well. Now in terms of adding, editing, and deleting messages, if I hover over each message over here, you'll see that these options will kind of pop up to the side. I'll hover over each one just to show you what they say. Insert message above, insert message below, edit message, cut message, and delete message. So if I click edit, insert message above, and receive text, it'll ask me who I want to set as the sender. So I'll make it, let's do Mia, let's do Chris over here. Chris will pop up, new message from Chris, and I can save that here. I can also insert a message below. Instead of received, I can do sent. So in this case, it'll be my blue text messages on the right side. New message from sender. I can save that here. I can also edit messages here. That's coming up. I can save that here. And I can also delete messages or select multiple messages and then bulk delete. And you can see that as I'm doing all these operations, under the Save Changes section over here, it says 2 new messages pending add, a message pending edit, some messages pending delete. So if I were to refresh my page right now, it would revert all my changes. But if I want to persist my changes, I can just go ahead and click Save Changes. And then it will tell me that my book updated successfully. And if I refresh the page now, all my changes would still be there. So that's permanent after that. Now let's go over here to the chapters section. So chapters, very simply, if you have other books, maybe you have a chat from WhatsApp, another chat from Android, another chat from Telegram, you can include those chats as different as new chapters in this existing book. So in this case, I have my Outer Banks trip here, but I also uploaded earlier books with the family group chat and a chat with my mom. So I can go ahead and click family group chat. It's going to add the chapter over here. Now if I come over here, you'll see chapter 2 with this little header, and this is our family group chat. If I click this again, it will warn me that I have to save my changes before adding a new chapter, so I'll do that real quick. I'll add chapter 3. This is just the text with mom. It'll add that chapter, and now if I come over here to the right, we'll see chapter 3 over here as well. And then I can click Save Changes. Now, next section is contacts. So contacts are going to show you the context within each chapter. So if I had just one chapter, just one-on-one chat, it's just going to show me that chapter 1 no header. But in this case, I have 3 different chapters. So let's go back to chapter 1, and let's say I want to rename Jake to Jacob. I can do that here, and you can see that all of the texts here that said Jake are now Jacob, and I can change me over here to Josh. And let's say that I'm getting this book for Jacob and it's not for me. I could set him as the primary sender. So right now I'm the blue text message bubbles, but I can go ahead and put Jacob as the blue text message bubbles. And then I come over here as just a regular group member, right? And so I can do that for all these other chapters as well, but I'm just going to save changes here just to demonstrate that. And now Jacob will be the primary sender. You can change any contact name to whatever you want. Sometimes in iMessage, these come in as numbers, so you definitely want to change them to be what you want them to say. And also over here as well, in chapter 2 and chapter 3, we don't have a primary sender yet here, so I can just click that, set myself as a primary sender here, set myself as a primary sender here in chapter 3, and then save my changes as well over there. Sometimes there's a case where, for some reason, duplicate contacts come up. Maybe it might say mom 1, mom 2. In that case, you can click merge and you can merge contacts together. And that's more of an advanced feature if you need to use that just in case contacts didn't come in properly, but that's pretty rare. Next is going to be the colors. This is a fun little section over here. So I have my preset themes. If you maybe just want to do a WhatsApp, these are the exact colors that WhatsApp uses. iMessage is what iMessage uses, but we have a bunch of different themes here that you can click through. I'm just going to set iMessage, and you can also come over here. You can paste in a color code, or you can change this. Let's say if I want to make this light and then make this text dark, you can see that that changes over here, and you can get crazy with it, right? And change the colors to exactly what you want. I'm just going to put that back to the default of iMessage. Next is the font. So I can change the font size. I can go super small to size 12. I can go super big to size 32. Or I can always just go back to default, which is size 16, which is, a good balance and what most people do. Same thing with the font family. I have Enter right now, but I can get fancy and use Comic Sans, Courier New, and I can always go back to default Enter, which is a great option. Last section is the options section. So we only have one size right now, A5 size, and we have show dates and show page numbers, which is always checked on by default. Most people leave that on, but if I were to uncheck it, you'll see the dates disappear. The dates come back. Show page numbers down here. They disappear. They come back. And then showing names above messages. So in a group chat, this is on by default. On a one-on-one chat with just one other person, it's off. So that's kind of how your phone does it. If you're in a one-on-one chat, you're not going to see the names above each chat bubble. If you're in your group chat, you'll see a name above each chat bubble. So I can turn that off if I want. But for a group chat, I'd probably want that on. And some people want to show their name above their own chat bubble as well. So we have that as an option as well. You can include your own name above messages. And you'll see that Jacob now comes up above each chat bubble as well. But the default for groups is that your own name doesn't come up above chat bubbles. And I can always reset the options to the default here, and it'll reset that there. And, any change here, if I switch this around here, it will remember you want to save your changes to persist everything, and then if I refresh the page, the changes will still be there. So the last two features that we'll go over in the book editor are here under the actions header. We have add new message and load link previews. I'm going to start with add new message. So currently we have a message here from December 12th, 2023. If I insert a message above or below, it's going to insert a new message on the same date. But maybe I want to insert a message on a completely different date. So that's where add new message comes in. You can click this here, select the chapter, select the sender. I'm going to do Mia. I'm going to set a message to go back here in 2020. I'm going to click add text message. You'll see that it comes up above as the first message since it's the earliest one now here from Mia on 2020. And I'm going to paste in a link actually from YouTube, save that here, and then save my changes over here. And now when I click load link previews, it's going to give me a quick little blurb here of kind of what it looks like before. I have my Spotify link, I have a YouTube link, and it'll show you that when you generate link previews, it will generate the thumbnail that you maybe see in your text messaging app on your phone. So it says I found one link in your message. I'm going to generate previews. It's going to generate, load real quick, and this can be for any number of links, 50 links, 100 links. So I'll go through the entire book and generate these previews. And you can see when I come back here that I have the YouTube thumbnail preview saved over here. So those were the features of the book editor. Now we'll go into the cover editor and see how we can customize our own book covers. We're just going to click this section right here, and then the cover editor pops up. So the same setup here, drop down options on the left and a bunch of covers here on the right. You can click through these and see what they look like. And our preset covers are a way to quickly make professional looking covers and just have a specific design, but you can't customize the colors here. So that's why they're preset. You can also see that a hardcover is going to have a little bit of a different mock-up. And you can see what all these lines mean as well by clicking on these little info text areas. So I'm going to go over here to the simple cover and just put in a title. I'm going to put a title of my Forever Books, a subtitle, a long description on the back, and you can see that as I'm typing this out, the book cover updates here on the right side. And I can click through some of these covers just to show you what they look like with all these options here. And then if I were to modify the colors, let's do like a light pink and do white text. That's what that looks like over here. And I can also reset the colors as well to go back to what it was before I modified anything. But a lot of people like to add an image. So these image covers down here will reflect an image that you upload over here. So you can do the front cover and the back cover. I'm going to click this image over here. I have nothing uploaded yet, but now I'll upload this file right here. Right, My Forever Books has my little image right here. And then I'll do a little bit like a light blue here. So that maybe more of a light purple, but you can see that already looks pretty good. That'll be a pretty nifty cover. It took me, just a minute to make that. I'm going to reset this here, and instead I'm going to start with a fresh start here because I'll show you. We'll check out the full cover image. So a lot of people like to, fully customize their cover and make it professionally in Canva, Photoshop, InDesign. Definitely recommend doing this because then you have full control over it. And we give this exact dimensions of the file to make here. So if you make a file at 5.96 by 8.52 inches and then upload that here, I have like an example that's very close to that. And then click this full cover image here, you'll see that it puts my image here, no stretching, no shrinking, nothing. And it's a great way to have a great looking, professional looking cover. And I can do the same thing for the back. So I can also customize a back cover. I only have a, kind of front cover image mocked up, but that would pop up in the back. But you can imagine that this would just be a professional looking back cover. I can also delete the image here, and I can save my changes here. And you'll see now, once I save my changes, give it a second. Cool, cover updated successfully. If I close this out now, you'll see that I have a little cover here now, denoting that there's a cover existing. And if I open it back up, it will load my cover exactly how I left it. I can also go back to the simple cover, right? Change the color here and just do something super simple like my forever books and save that as well. Close out the cover, and you'll see that it shows the simple cover over here. Cool. So we finished customizing our book, we created our cover, and now it's time to finally generate and order our book. So before we get there, I'm going to just take note here of this estimated page count of 49. That's going to be our best guess of how many pages we'll have once we generate. It's going to be different from this number down here, which is just based on browser size. If we can fit more messages because our monitor is bigger, we'll try to fit more messages. If not, we'll fit less. So if I zoom in, you can see that there's more pages. If I zoom out, there's less pages. That's all that's doing there. Now, before I click generate over here, it's going to tell me if I click this to go ahead and review the book tips to the right. So if you come over here and click this, it's going to show a bunch of tips that you should double check. You should definitely take your time, read through this and go through all your messages and check that everything's exactly how you want. So once I've read that here, I can just come over here, click generate book. I'll be taken to the generate page. So this is going to go ahead and load all my messages again and start to generate the book file that we will send the printing company. So you can see that I have 248 messages and it's generating part 1 of 1. If you have thousands of messages, maybe you're making a book out of 5,000 or 10,000 messages, you might see generating part 1 of 4 or part 1 of 6. Just let it go and do its thing, and it's going to take some time to do that. We do it in 1,500 message chunks. So once it's done generating, we'll come back to this page, give it a second to load, and we're here in the book preview. And here in the book preview, you can see the book mockup on the left here, your order options, and then the checkout information here on the right. So before we get into the book preview and all the order options, I'm actually going to close out of this window and come back to this page. And you'll see that instead of generate book, we have preview book. So as long as I don't edit, add, or delete any messages, I can quickly come back to the book preview like so. But let's say you have a warning at the top saying that you're over the 800 page limit. So we can only print books of a max of 800 pages. So a couple options there. I'm going to close this again. I'm going to come over here to the font section. And I can start off by just making the font smaller. And you'll see that the estimated page count went down from 49 to 42. But let's say you want to keep the same font size. So I can come over here and click this button, and I'll have a couple more generation options. I can generate the first half or last half by messages. So just split the messages in half by number, or we can do it by pages. But in this case, we're good to go with the entire book. On the left side is the book preview, and this is what actually gets sent to the printing company. So you definitely want to go through each page, double check all your messages before you put in your order. Once you put in your order and the printing company starts printing, it's already going to be too late to change anything. So definitely want to double check everything now, and if something looks off, shoot us an email before you finish your order. You can also toggle between the cover and make sure everything looks good over here, and always go back to the interior. In the middle, we have our different order options. So paperback versus hardcover. Hardcover is going to be a harder, more durable book, a little bit heavier, so we charge a little bit more for that. Matte versus glossy cover finish, that's just more personal preference. Glossy has a little bit of a more premium feel, looks a little bit more like a photo. The colors come a little bit deeper, so we charge a little bit more. And then the lighter weight versus heavier weight paper. Typically with the heavier weight paper, the colors print bolder. There's pretty much no see-through between the pages. If I had to pick one out of these, the most important one to get, I'd probably go with the heavier paper and followed by the hardcover option. But if you just wanted the basic options just to get your messages on paper in a book form, that's also totally fine to get the most basic options. But I'd go with white coated paper, hardcover, and then a glossy finish in order of importance there. So then you come down here and put in your shipping information. I'm going to put my information here. Just Alton Road. Let's do just a fake address here. We come down here and we have different shipping options. So we have 5 different shipping options here in the States, and this will be different if you're somewhere internationally. Our overnight shipping, you can see the estimated delivery times here below each shipping option. Again, we can't guarantee the shipping time, so take these as estimates. During the holiday season, these are a little bit slower. Right now, during the spring and summer, these are typically faster. But if I just pick the most basic option over here, and all these options over here as well, we have to select these here too. You'll see that all these are checked over here, and then I get my book price over here, which is based on page numbers. And if I wanted to, I can always click add one more book, and this is going to put 2 books here. A lot of people like to have 2 books, to keep one for themselves, one for the person they're giving it to. A lot of people like to reference pages or something that they're reading, so it's a lot of customers get 2 books. And if you add one more book over here, you'll see that we get a few discounts here. You get $10 off the second book, and then the shipping becomes free. So once everything looks good over here, you can just click checkout. It's going to go ahead and process. So once the order is finished processing, you'll get taken over here to the final checkout page. Double check that everything's right. Put it in your payment information, submit your order, and then everything will go through. After that, you'll come to a success page, and then we'll send you an email letting you know that your order went through. You'll get another email that your order entered production, and a final email once your order ships with tracking information. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole process of going through, customizing your book, making a cover, ordering it, some of our different options, and then the final checkout page over here. So really appreciate everybody watching. Always appreciate everybody's business. And if you ever have any questions, I'm always an email away. Thanks, guys.